Okay, let's dive in. So the word on the street, well, the internet, is that YouTube's just rolled out this massive algorithm update, like the biggest in maybe a decade.
Yeah, that's the claim. Our source here is Jason Lee. He's been on YouTube for, what, 10 years?
10 years, yeah. And he's saying this isn't just some minor tweak, it's potentially a real game changer. A window of opportunity, he calls it.
Right, and 10 years online, that's like forever. So if YouTube's fundamentally shifting how things work, well, that's definitely worth a look.
Exactly. Which is why we're doing this deep dive. We've got Jason Lee's video transcript. And basically our mission today is to figure out, the nuts and bolts of this change.
And crucially, how you listening right now might actually be able to use this.
Totally. Whether you've maybe thought about starting a channel or you're just kind of curious about how YouTube works behind the scenes, this could be really, really interesting.
So what are we actually trying to pin down here? It's not just knowing it happened, right? We need to get what it means.
Yeah, what it means and what can you do about it?
Practical steps.
Exactly. So based on what Jason's saying, we're going to hit three main areas. First, the update itself. What exactly is it? And is there actual evidence it's, working, like helping small channels?
Okay. Evidence is key.
Second, he talks about 3 video formats that are supposedly crushing it right now in 2025.
Right, the what to make part.
And third, how are creators, even small ones, apparently pulling in 6-figure incomes? What are the strategies?
Gotcha. So the mechanics, the content, and the money. Sounds like a solid plan.
Yeah, hopefully we can cut through the hype a bit, give you some solid takeaways, maybe a few aha moments.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's kick off with this algorithm update. Jason calls it YouTube Easy Mode. What's the core idea there?
Well, the big claim is that YouTube is actively pushing videos from small channels onto people's home feeds.
Actively, like deliberately.
That's the suggestion. Jason says he's seen it himself channels with just a few hundred subscribers popping up next to the huge ones with millions.
Wow. Okay. And he says it's not just him seeing this, it's like a wider thing.
Yeah, he frames it as a widespread observation, not just a fluke. It really points towards a conscious shift in their recommendation engine.
Does he give any clue how they might be doing it?
Yep.
Like changing how they weigh subscriber counts or watch time, or maybe new features?
He doesn't get super technical on the how, but he does mention confirmation from someone he calls Todd Brake, one of the YouTube top guys.
Todd Brake, okay.
Yeah, apparently confirming there's a specific team now focused entirely on helping smaller creators get found.
A dedicated team for discovery. Now that sounds significant. That'd be a major departure from the old days, right? Where getting those first viewers felt like climbing Everest.
Absolutely. It suggests a potential shift in philosophy. For ages, it felt like you needed a big following already or some viral miracle to get noticed. This update, if Jason's right, seems aimed at lowering that initial very high barrier.
And he talks about why YouTube might do this, their motivation.
Yeah, he calls it the snowball effect, basically a win-win.
How so?
Well, the thinking is, if more creators are making decent videos and finding an audience,
right,
that means more videos overall, more engagement, more places to put ads.
So more creators succeeding equals more money for YouTube in the long run.
Exactly. By helping the smaller channels grow, they're kind of investing in their own future inventory.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
A broader base of creators keeps the platform healthy and diverse.
Yeah, that logic tracks. It fights stagnation.
And maybe it's also a bit of a reaction to, platforms like TikTok, which are super good at boosting new creators quickly.
Good point. Competition could be driving this too. He also tackles that old chestnut. YouTube is saturated.
Right, the idea that it's too late to start.
Yeah, but he argues this update kind of flips that. If there's a real chance for discovery now, maybe saturation isn't the insurmountable wall it used to seem. It changes the perspective. Maybe the huge amount of content isn't just a barrier, but an opportunity for YouTube to serve really specific niches by elevating these smaller, more focused channels.
Okay, so that's the potential why now. Let's move to the what to do. Jason highlights 3 specific video formats he thinks are really working in 2025.
Right, this is the practical stuff. If the algorithm's changing, what kind of content actually fits?
Okay, first up, journey videos. What are these exactly?
Think of it like just documenting your process, your daily life maybe, but focused on something you're building or learning. The key is, it's not about fancy editing or slick production.
So more raw and real, showing the messy parts.
Exactly. Authenticity is the core. pulling back the curtain, showing the struggles, the actual steps. He gives an example, Sam Sulek.
Oh yeah, the fitness guy.
Right. Apparently just films his gym workouts on his phone. Sometimes the lighting's bad, audio's not great, but gets millions of views.
And why does that work?
Jason thinks it's because people see it as, well, real, unscripted, relatable. In a world full of curated perfection, people crave that authenticity.
Makes sense, like you're just hanging out with him.
Yeah, exactly. But Jason does add, you still need the basics, like a good thumbnail to get the click and some kind of structure so it's not just random rambling.
Right, thumbnails still matter. Always thumbnails. Okay, so that's journey videos. What's number 2?
Number 2 is building in public videos. It's kind of like journey videos, but maybe more focused.
How so?
It's about sharing everything while you're actively, say, building a business or learning a new skill. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Okay, and you don't have to be an expert already.
No, that's the key. The process of learning or building is the content. It targets people who are maybe trying to learn the same thing or start their own side hustle.
Gotcha. So showing the struggles is actually part of the appeal.
Totally. It's about documenting the journey, often POV style point of view, showing failures alongside the wins. He mentions Daniel Dallin, filming his business building while traveling.
Right, sharing every step. That POV style, Jason says, makes the viewer feel like they're right there with them.
Yeah, it creates a strong connection. You feel invested. And Jason's take is that people are just tired of only seeing polished success stories.
They want the real story.
They want to see how the sausage gets made, you know? Learn from the mistakes, too. It's relatable, maybe even more educational sometimes.
Okay, that makes sense. Journey videos, building in public videos. What's the third format?
The third one is expert-based content.
Okay. So this is about knowing your stuff.
Well, yes and no. It's about creating videos that solve specific problems, positioning yourself as an expert. But here's the kicker. You don't need to be the world's top expert.
Oh, how does that work?
The idea is you just need to know, say, 20% more than the audience you're trying to help. Your knowledge is relative, but still valuable to them.
Interesting. So it's less about being a guru, more about being helpful on a specific thing.
Exactly. The focus isn't on amazing production or giving vague advice. It's about providing concrete solutions to actual problems people have.
You give examples, right?
Yeah, like Charlie Morgan teaches how to start and grow an agency business. Uses simple whiteboard videos.
Simple whiteboards, seriously.
Yep, apparently making like $1 million a month. But the key is it's a very specific niche.
Right, targeting a clear need.
And the simple format just focuses on the information. Then there's Cardinal Mason, focuses only on teaching professional copywriting, again, super specific.
Okay, so the advice is think about what you're already kind of good at.
Yeah, like are you decent with spreadsheets? Can you write okay sales copy? Know your way around social media management? Even basic stuff for you could be a lifesaver for someone else.
Find your relative expertise. I like that. It lowers the bar in a good way.
Exactly. It's about helping someone get from point A to point B, even if you're only at point C yourself.
Okay, so the message seems to be authenticity, helpfulness, maybe less focus on Hollywood production values. Now let's talk money. Because Jason makes some pretty bold claims about monetization changing too.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting for anyone thinking about YouTube as more than just a hobby. How are these smaller channels actually making real money?
He throws out a wild stat.
Yeah.
Channels with just 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers making 6 figures
Right.
in their first year.
Whoa, okay, that definitely grabs your attention. He even mentions his own channel, right?
Yeah, hitting $10,000 a month in 4 months with under 5K subs. I mean, that seems almost too good to be true compared to the old YouTube model.
It really challenges that old idea that you need millions of views and subscribers to earn significant income. It suggests other ways are becoming much more viable.
So what's the secret sauce then, if it's not just about AdSense?
Well, according to Jason, focusing only on views and AdSense is the big mistake. While they matter a bit, they shouldn't be the main income goal. The real key, he says, is making videos that genuinely help people solve their problems.
Right, connecting back to that expert content idea.
Exactly, because when you consistently provide real value, you build trust. And that opens the door to direct monetization.
Like what kinds of things?
Things like offering one-on-one consulting calls, selling digital products, templates, guides, courses.
Digital courses, ebook.
Yeah, all that stuff. And also brand deals. He points out brands often pay way more than you'd ever make from AdSense on the same videos.
Because you've built a targeted, trusting audience around a specific topic.
Precisely. You're seen as a resource. People are then more willing to pay you directly for more in-depth help or solutions. It's a value exchange.
And he said AdSense is now what, like 5 or 10% of his income?
Yeah, something like that, which really underlines how much potential there is in these other methods if your content is genuinely useful. It flips the model. You're not chasing ads. You're building a community you can serve directly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But there's still that hurdle of actually starting, right? For anyone listening who's maybe been thinking about it but hasn't pulled the trigger.
Yes, the fear factor.
Yes.
Jason tackles that head on.
He talks about meeting the perfect moment, perfect gear, feeling 100% ready.
Yeah, and he basically says, forget all that perfectionism is just a form of procrastination for most people.
Guilty as charged, sometimes.
Yeah. He admits he had all the usual fears starting out, being awkward on camera, being judged.
Worrying no one will watch.
Or worse, getting nasty comments, all that stuff.
So what's his advice? Just do it anyway.
Pretty much, but with a key mindset shift. He says you have to realize that, in a way, nobody actually cares about you.
Okay. That sounds kind of harsh.
But he means it in a good way. Like, viewers aren't sitting there analyzing your every little flaw or judging your haircut.
Okay. They care about what they're getting out of it.
Exactly. Are you helping them, teaching them something, solving their problem? That's what they focus on. The value you provide is way more important than whether your lighting is perfect or if you stumble over a word.
So helpfulness trumps perfection.
That's the message. Viewers prioritize good information. So his call to action is basically, stop obsessing about yourself and your fears. Realize there's someone out there right now who actually needs the knowledge you have.
Shift the focus from me to them. That's quite powerful, actually.
Yeah, it reframes it as an act of service almost, which can be a great motivator to just get started.
And finally, he mentioned some other benefits beyond just the money.
Yeah, the unexpected upsides of putting yourself out there on YouTube.
Like what?
Well, connections, for one. Meeting people, making friends, even finding business partners he wouldn't have met otherwise, building a network.
Right, the community aspect.
And learning. He makes this really strong statement that he's learned more from actually making videos and teaching others than he ever did in school.
Wow, that's quite a claim.
But you can see how it happens, right? Having to research, structure your thoughts, explain things clearly, it forces you to understand topics on a deeper level.
Yeah, teaching is often the best way to learn. And connecting with people who share your interests globally, that's huge too.
Definitely. Those non-monetary benefits can be incredibly rewarding.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this all up. The big takeaway from Jason Lee's perspective seems to be YouTube in 2025. It's looking like a potentially really good opportunity, especially for new creators.
Yeah, this supposed algorithm shift, favoring smaller channels, could be lowering those old barriers to entry, maybe leveling the playing field a bit.
So for you listening, especially if you've been kicking around the idea of starting a channel, the message seems to be, now might actually be a uniquely good time.
Don't let the what-ifs pile up for another year, perhaps.
Yeah, and the keys seem to be, focus on being authentic, focus on being genuinely helpful.
Maybe try one of those formats, journey, building in public, or expert-based, even if you're just a relative expert.
And think beyond just AdSense for making money. Build that trust. Serve your audience directly.
Consulting, products, courses, brand deals, diversify.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. What's that unique thing you know? That skill you have, that perspective, that journey you're on?
Yeah, I don't think you need to be the world's foremost authority.
Just think about that specific problem you solved, or that thing you learned, that journey from point A to point B. Who could you help make that same trip? And maybe, just maybe, now's the time to hit record.